Today's guest is a absolutely lovely colleague of mine right here in Perth, homeopath Ruth Hull. She also featured in episode 15 of this podcast, so if you scroll back 84 episodes, you will find her there. Now, if you are struggling with constant tiredness and brain fog, or if you feel like you're drowning in stress and overwhelm, then you need to read Ruth's blog at www.ruthhull.com. That's RUTHHULL.com. So Ruth specializes in helping exhausted, burned out individuals rebuild their health and recover from fatigue. So through her blogs and her videos, you'll discover how to rebuild your health, adapt your lifestyle to decrease chronic inflammation, improve your gut, and cope better with stress. Ruth's trained as a homeopathic doctor and she's worked in natural health for over 20 years. She has written 4 health-related textbooks used in colleges worldwide and also teaches anatomy, physiology, and pathophysiology. She shares everything she's learned so that your personal journey back to health can be easier and quicker. So start by listening to her free training on how to cope with stress when you're too tired to think at ruthhull.com/stress. And Ruth has a fabulous online course that is starting on the 22nd of August. It's called The Art of Creating Energy, and you still have time to sign up at ruthhull.com. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangouts. Today we speak with the exceptionally lovely Ruth Hull from here in Perth. Welcome, Ruth.
Hello, Eugenie. Thank you for having me again.
It is lovely to have you on. And we have had Ruth on episode 15. And I think by the time this episode goes out, it'll probably be around the 90s somewhere, Ruth. So yeah, it's wonderful to have you back. And let's just jump straight into it, because in episode 15, we talked a bit about how you got into homeopathy. So let's just jump into our topic for today, which is burnout. And as both of us are mums, your daughters are teenagers. I'm just heading into that preteen stage. So there's been some hormone surges and things going on. And it can get hectic trying to run a business, trying to raise our kiddies to be healthy, modern day life, often not that much family support around. And I know the mums listening to this know what it feels like to experience burnout. And that's a topic that you're passionate about. Do you want to tell us why and how you approach this in your clinic?
Yes, thanks, Eugenie. Yeah, so I'm a mum of 2, and I've always been like a real achiever in life. And I ended up, so I had my first daughter in 2006 and my second in 2008. And I didn't really take a break when I had my kids, and I just kept working. I was lecturing at the time. I wrote my books. I started writing my books when my second daughter was 8 weeks old, I think it was.
And I think you've got like 5 books now, hey?
Yeah, and I've got 4. I'm into my 5th now.
Yeah, and there's been several re-editions as well. And so you are a busy lady.
Yes, I'm a very busy woman, but I didn't even realize how tired I was getting. I was just pushing myself. And I kept pushing until I ended up with complete and utter exhaustion, days where I actually just couldn't get out of bed. And it took me about 10 years to really rebuild my health again. So that's why now my passion is helping people rebuild their health when they've burnt themselves out, or even before they get to burnout, when they know that they're just tired and they have to do something about it. So that's sort of where my passion comes from, is my own experiences. I know how awful it feels to just keep pushing yourself through life, dragging yourself through life, putting on a smiling face to everyone, getting the job done, but just feeling quite dead inside. I have one client who said that she just lost the joy. And I thought that that's the perfect way of saying things, where you feel almost like a robot. You're just pushing yourself and going and not really experiencing life how you want to. So that's my passion. And that's why I do what I do. And when I work with people now, I really focus on the deeper side of why they push themselves to burnout. So that's where the homeopathy works so beautifully. I think so. My 10 years of trying to rebuild my health, I've always been in the health industry. So I took all the right supplements, I took all the right herbs, I had lots of therapies, and I would feel better for a while, and then I would crash again. So every time I took a new supplement or herb and felt a little bit better, I would keep pushing myself, and I would work harder and do more and achieve more until I crashed. So it was this up and down cycle. And it really was homeopathy that that changed me and made me stop and start questioning why I pushed myself. So yeah, it's when I started being given, I had an amazing homeopath in South Africa who actually, I'll tell you the story of it because it was a bit embarrassing. Yeah. I took my daughter to a homeopath. She was a student who knew me well. And because my daughter was 2 years old and she was not sleeping, she just screamed all the time. I think a lot of you mums listening know what it's like to have a child with just doesn't sleep. Yeah. And I was absolutely exhausted. So the homeopath took the case and she said to me, Ruth, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to give you a remedy as the mom. And I'm like, I don't need a remedy. I'm fine. And she gave me carcinosin. And I went home. I didn't know carcinosin at the time. I went home and I read carcinosin and I was quite upset. I was like, sure, cheeky sod. How dare she? And then I realized, I think that was when I started realizing, actually, I need some help. I need to do something a lot deeper. And that's when I started getting into the deep part of homeopathy. And so that's what I use with clients now, is whether they want to work with me as in my capacity as a homeopath, or whether they want to build their own health from scratch, just in their own time. We always look at the reasons why they push themselves.
That's so wonderful that you said that, because all of us, those people who are very driven and push themselves, will do it for various reasons. And there might be childhood trauma, or there might be maybe jealousy. And so trying to keep up with the Joneses, or it could be a desire, a fear of poverty, or it could be, like in homeopathy, there's so many different reasons why people do what they do. And in a homeopathic consultation, we try to uncover that. What is the reason why you do what you do? So we can kind of energetically remove that patterning that you have maybe been handed down from your ancestors, or something happened at some stage that made you decide to go on this trajectory. And homeopathy is so amazing for helping us to stop those patterns. You have lots of other tricks up your sleeve on how you can help people rebuild their health if they're in this stage of fatigue, because homeopathy is amazing, and I'll be the first person to sing it from the rooftops. But sometimes you just do need those extra tools to help build your body back up. And that's something that you're excellent at doing. So can you talk to us a little bit more about how you help people with that aspect of things? So once you've done the homeopathy, you've got to the reason behind why you're doing what you're doing. How do we then build ourselves back up?
Yes, I think homeopathy is beautiful for working with the trauma and uncovering the real causes. But I think you can't just work on that side. You also have to look at your lifestyle and make adjustments.
Absolutely.
It's you've got to work with the external as well as the internal. So I see, so I've been working with people with fatigue and burnout for many years now, and I see the exact same patterns again and again. And the first thing I always get my clients or my students on my program to do is look at chronic inflammation and see what is causing inflammation in their body. I always recommend to people that the first place they start is with their GP or their doctor, and they just rule out a low-grade infection. So they ask their doctor to do some blood tests for them, just in case there's a low-grade infection that their body's constantly fighting, like your say something like Epstein-Barr virus, something like that. And then I treat it homeopathically, because that's the best way to treat things. But you can use herbs. It's up to people what they want to choose. They can use herbs if there's an infection. Also, they need to check their thyroid. They need to check if they're anemic. Just those, if they're diabetic as well, if they're having problems with their blood sugars. So I always get people to rule out those main causes of fatigue, and those all add to chronic inflammation. There's other things that add to inflammation as well that people need to rule out, and one is diet. I think the biggest is it's diet. It's what we eat. So I have a lot of stuff on my blog for anyone who's interested, a lot of information on how to do an elimination diet to find out if you are intolerant to a specific food and that's aggravating your body. Maybe you have allergies to like pollen or something externally. So you need to remove the aggravation or the cause of what's inflaming your body. It's like with homeopathy, we always talk about your maintaining
causes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So although the homeopathy will work beautifully on a deep level, if you are eating something that you are intolerant to, or if you are taking a supplement or a herb that's aggravating your body. I had a woman the other week, we found out she's intolerant to turmeric, and she was taking lots of turmeric because it's so good for you.
Wow.
Yeah. And as soon as she stopped that, she improved quite a lot. So you always need to look at those physical causes of what is inflaming your body. Inflammation plays a huge role in fatigue. And then there's other things to look at as well. But I always say to people, start with that. Start with what's inflaming your body.
So, Ruth, I have a quick question for you, and that is basically thyroid tests. You know, when people often go to their doctor to ask for a thyroid test, but the type of test that the doctor does often doesn't give us very useful information. Is there a particular test that you recommend that your clients ask for when they go to visit the doctor? Because often they actually need to go to a naturopath or somebody else to do more specialized testing. What do you recommend for that?
Yes, so with the thyroid, the most common test that your doctor will do will just be your T3, T4 levels. That's like the standard test. But you can ask your doctor, and people mustn't be shy to ask their doctors, just ask them. You're paying for it.
Yeah.
Ask them to do the antibody tests as well, because often your antibodies will show that there's a problem coming. The standard thyroid tests only show when the problem's quite developed and you've already got the symptoms.
Okay.
So get the antibody tests done. And I actually recommend to people to women especially, that they always check their thyroid after they've had babies.
Yes.
And when they go through menopause, because that is when your thyroid is really affected. It's also very much affected by stress. So if you're under a lot of stress and you start having symptoms related to thyroid, such as either extreme fatigue, you put on weight and you can't lose weight, you wake up with that slightly bloated face in the morning, constipation, dry skin,
hair loss.
That's hair loss, yes. And they're very, very common in women, mainly in their 40s. Go and get your thyroid tested. There's such simple things you can do to actually improve your thyroid health.
Is there any of those that you quickly want to touch on while we're on the topic? Just yes. One or two, just a little tease.
So the way I work with thyroid issues is really by addressing stress. That is the main thing. I think stress has a huge impact on your thyroid. That's why when you have babies or you go through menopause, that's quite a change in your body and a stressor to your body. And that's why the thyroid can just go out of balance. But your diet is very, very important as well, especially, it may sound odd, but keeping your blood sugars balanced. So making sure you're eating regular meals, eating proteins with fat, so your blood sugars aren't going up and down. That's a huge stressor on the body. And then if somebody does have a thyroid problem, I love homeopathy for thyroid disorders. Homeopathy is magic.
Can I quickly pipe in there that just a few years ago, I used to work in a health shop and we had a naturopath that worked with us, and nobody walked out of that consultation with her with under $900 worth of supplements, $1,000 worth of supplements every single month. And months down the track, they still wouldn't see too much change. Or if they did see change, they would have to stay on those supplements. And I could never understand it, because we can achieve exactly the same result with, like a $16 or $20 remedy. You might need a few of them, but you're never going to walk away with more than, 100, I don't know, like maybe $50 or $100 worth of remedies at the very most. Like not even, that's like extreme. And maybe if it's somebody like yourself that works with maybe supplements and things, it might be one or two supplements thrown in there. But $1,000 a month, it just really seems really excessive. So I think homeopathy really excels in treating thyroid issues.
Yes,
effectively
absolutely.
And cost effectively.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And what sort of other any dietary things? So you said the blood sugar levels really important to keep an eye on those, have your fats with your proteins, and you said stress is obviously a really big factor. And
yes.
I wonder if we should maybe mention about this, your course that you do as well, because you actually teach women how to do this themselves. So in this course, what are some of the things that you would cover, and what sort of things can people learn from this?
So I've created, it's an online program, and it's called The Art of Creating Energy. Mm-hmm. And I hold your hand and I walk you step by step through rebuilding your own health. Mm-hmm. And we look at all the physical aspects of, we always start with chronic inflammation, how to find out what is inflaming your body, and how to sort of change your lifestyle. I focus very much on tiny, simple little lifestyle changes, because somebody who's got fatigue, who's got brain fog, who's tired already, is just going to be overwhelmed if it's too much. So it's actually a 12-week program, and each week you make one tiny change. And then we look at gut health, healing the gut if you've got a leaky gut, feeding and nourishing your microbiome. We look at the organs of elimination, how to improve them. We look at the physical rebuilding of your body, the basic foundations of health. At the same time, I echo it by working on emotions, encouraging you to work on emotions. So I give you lots of little exercises, practices to help you explore your own emotions and help you explore and understand why you got so tired. And at the very end of the 12 weeks, in the last week, it's my favorite part of the program. I get you to create your own blueprint or your own plan for continuing building your health in the future. So when you're not with me anymore, you know what to do. You know what kind of questions you need to ask your doctors. You know what to eat. You know what to look for when you're burning yourself out again. You know what changes to make. So basically, it's putting your health in your own hands and getting control of your health and understanding your overwhelm and slowly but surely sort of changing your path in life a little bit.
That sounds amazing. So you're not just like, that's the end of the course, that's it, see you later. No. You actually get a blueprint for how you can continue building on those good habits.
Yes, and you create that blueprint so you understand what you need. Yeah.
I just recently read that book Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read that, James Clear. Oh my gosh, it is so, so good. And just really breaking it really changes the psychology of habits, and what we've been taught is good, a good way to create habits, and just kind of flipped it on its head and made it into a really practical way of actually making small changes in your life and building on those.
Yes, I love that book. So I use his ideas quite a lot when I'm trying to get people to make changes, especially to their diet. And because it's, I've seen so often somebody goes and visits a practitioner, they get this new diet, they're so excited, they stick to it for a couple of weeks, if that, then their usual stresses in life come back and they forget all about it. And then they feel like more of a failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When you just need it, you just need one. It's like the idea of homeopathy. It's one little drop. It's one tiny, tiny little change, but you've got to find you've got to find the best change. You've got to find the right one that'll have that big ripple effect.
Absolutely. And I just want to pipe up here. So when you were just hearing Ruth speak about organs of elimination and these sorts of things, and you might think, who's she to say? I just want to pipe up that she has written a kick-ass anatomy and physiology and pathophysiology textbook, which I actually looked behind me before to see if it's here, but I remembered it's at home because I wanted to write a book and I'm using your textbook to, for the anatomy and physiology and pathophys side of it. And in South Africa, where Ruth trained, it's actually very similar to India and Europe, where they actually train alongside the medical doctors and they come out as a doctor of homeopathy. So Ruth has got this medical background as well as having written textbooks on anatomy, physiology, and pathophys. So if she is teaching you about organs of elimination and how the body works, all these things, you are getting it from a world-renowned authority.
Oh, thank you, Eugenie.
No worries. I love your textbook. So I just, had to put that out there. Any other little teasers that you can tell us about the course and a little bit more about what people can learn? Maybe just a couple of take-home tips that mums, if they're feeling really fatigued and burned out right now, what are a couple of small changes that they can start to make until they go and book your course? Which, but I'm guessing, is it like an intake and they join at any stage, or is it just specific intakes?
It's specific dates. It's February and September. So I only did twice a year.
Okay. So we have to get this podcast out before then. Good.
Yes.
Okay. So September, when in September is your next intake?
So the intake is the last 2 weeks of August, and then it starts the first week of September.
Okay. Excellent.
But I do have just online, I have just put out last week a lovely teach yourself hand reflexology if you have fatigue. So if there's any mums out there who struggle a lot with fatigue, with headaches, with joint pain, with tummy problems, all associated with tiredness, you can find my new little workshop, and I teach you how to do hand reflexology to help yourself. So if you've got a headache, I show you the points to work. Amazing. So you can work them anytime, anywhere.
And people are going to start thinking I'm making this up, but Ruth has actually written textbooks on reflexology as well.
I've been teaching reflexology for 23 years. So
and this textbook are used in colleges. So yes. Once again, you can take her word for it.
Yes. So I'm a huge believer that we need to take our health into our own hands. If you're struggling with tiredness, if you're struggling with any chronic health condition, to be honest, you can't keep going to a doctor, to a naturopath, to a homeopath and expecting them to make you better, expecting the pills you take or the supplements or the medication to make you better. All of those will definitely help, but you need to be responsible for your own health. So in terms of women or mums who are feeling tired, I'm going to say the most obvious thing in the world, but I know how difficult it is. But if you're tired, you need to rest. You need to start learning to say no to people, no to opportunities, no to your children, and no to your friends sometimes, and to actually sit on the couch watch a chick flick or read a magazine or lie on your bed and have a sleep and don't feel guilty about it. I think that is the best tip I can give, because I know people don't listen to that.
And if you have problems saying no, the homeopathic remedy carcinosin that Ruth mentioned is often for people who find it hard to say no. So if you do find it hard to say no, go and see your homeopath, go and see Ruth.
Yes.
Because we will give you a homeopathic remedy that will make it much easier for you to say no. And often for me, I know I've given a successful prescription when my clients come back and said, and I'll say, oh, how are you going with that new PTA volunteer job that you signed up for? And they're like, oh, no, I gave it to somebody else. I'm not going to take that on anymore. Yes. Or, they've started saying no to things and started actually, I always say it's that self-preservation mechanism that kicks in when you give the correct homeopathic remedy. Yes. With those self-destructive behaviors stop, whatever they may be, whether it's overworking or taking on too much or drinking or smoking or whatever, you stop wanting to do those and start wanting to actually care for yourself. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And carcinosin is a huge remedy for fatigue. Yeah, because of that type of person. Yeah.
Ruth, can you tell our lovely listeners how to get hold of you and why to buy your books, and also any last messages that you want to leave them with?
Yes, thank you. So you can find me at ruthhull.com. That's RUTHHULL.com. And I have a lovely little free audio for anybody who is feeling really overwhelmed, who is just absolutely exhausted, stressed out, has brain fog, and doesn't really know where to start. It's at ruthhull.com/stress, STRESS. And this is it's a 40-minute audio in which I give you some beautiful techniques and strategies to help you start coping with your stress. Things you can actually do, practical tools you can do there, what worked best for me in my life. I share them with all my clients and I see really good changes. So that's ruthhull.com/stress.
That sounds amazing. Thank you. I will go and look that up right now. Thank you so much for your time, Ruth. It was so lovely to chat with you again, and I can't wait to see you again in person.
Yes, Yes, we need to. Thank you, Eugenie. Thanks so much. I always love chatting to you.
Same. Chat soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.